And probably has. Right? Yeah. And so.
We're good. Call meeting to order at 6:01. Adopting the agenda as presented. Council.
May I ask for an amendment or do we?
Okay.
Amendment.
Council Warwick, would you accept a friendly amendment?
Well, I'm just regarding setbacks. Is that a discussion for tonight or behind council? Behind council.
Setbacks.
Could probably be covered in the closed session.
Yeah.
Okay, I cancel my request. My apologies.
We'll see the agenda as adopted. All in favor? Carried. Delegation Roundhouse Rehabilitation Project. Okay.
Well, thank you for letting me speak here today and make my case. So I'm Tom Stroh, for any of you who don't know. I am the Economic Development Manager for Our Sky. I've been there for about 4 months now. So today I'm requesting council support for any form of in-kind services or possible financial contributions to help address the funding shortfall at the Roundhouse Rehabilitation project.
Can I just make a comment that it is actually the Harvest Sky Roundhouse project? It has nothing to do with the Hanna Roundhouse Society.
Okay.
So anyway, a little background for a project overview. Since 2022, Harvest Sky Economic Development Corporation and Hanna Roundhouse Society have collaborated in redeveloping the Hanna Roundhouse. The primary goal of this project was to install central facilities such as washroom with power and sewer services. The initial costs were projected to be about $500K based on a study by Kevin Space Design in 2022. So the project secured a total of $550,000 in grant funding, combining contributions from Prairies Can and Travel Alberta. Despite this, significant funding challenges have emerged, with construction bids revealing a true cost ranging from $640,000 to $1.2 million, far exceeding initial estimates and leading to a shortfall of approximately $235K. So in response to these project budget overruns, myself, along with the project engineer, Nicholas, and the Roundhouse Society, have taken measures to cut unnecessary expenses, and we have sought additional cost-saving opportunities. These efforts have helped, and currently we have a revised shortfall of about $144,000. Accounting for pre-construction activities, there's about $417,000 remaining to complete this project. The team has approached special areas for extra funding and has successfully applied for a 6-month extension from Prairies Can. This extension moves the project deadline to May 1st, 2025, and it gives us a little bit of time to find the additional funds and complete the project. If the project fails to utilize the allocated funds by this new deadline, the grant will be forfeited, posing significant risk to the project's completion and potential for revitalization benefits that could bring to the local community. So, as mentioned previously, I've spoken to the special areas chairman, who has signaled that he would be willing to support the project pending special areas board approval. However, it is conditional on additional partners. I've also spoken with Prairies Can and gotten that 6-month extension, and we've also spoken with Nicholas. So
So if the project working during the winter, does that not increase the cost of the project?
There is some heating costs. From my attached bid, you can see that breakdown of what we have and what we managed to take off, painting. Sandra, if you want to jump in and help me say what we've taken off so far.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we've done, and I'm speaking, maybe I should be on the other side of the table, but speaking as the president of the Hanna Roundhouse Society, we were able to take some of the stuff off that we can do on our own, or we didn't feel was necessary. And we have done a large project. And I believe I had sent information out to the council, just giving them more of a background information. So we have done a lot of work on it, preparing, but if it doesn't go forward, we will still operate based on our portable heating and porta potties and that sort of thing. And so what you're looking at is a loss of $407,000 would be left on the table from Prairies Can funding. And because the town and special areas are the main shareholders for Heart of Sky Economic Development, that is why the town is also being asked if there is any support they would be able to offer. I know the town has done some work to help with cammering the water lines and doing the sewer line working and that sort of thing. The sewer line basically because it was on town property. But so we have greatly appreciated any help that they have been able to provide.
Sandra, can I be concerned, I guess.
Well,
Sorry. I just have a question in regards to the $400,000, which is coming from Prairies Can. So you're saying that if you do not use that $400, you are going to lose it?
400,000.
There's
400,000, yes, of course, yeah.
Yes. Thomas was able to, up to date, I believe we have about 150 some that has been spent. I say some because it's still ongoing, and that is to do with the project engineer who is with RJC Engineering. His name is Nicholas. I can't say his last name just because I can't pronounce it. And but he's been working diligently on getting everything together. And I believe some of the information provided in that study that Space provided, that was paid for by Prairies Can on behalf of for Heart of Sky, did not include all the information. It didn't include taking the architect sketch that we had from 2019 and converting it into the actual construction carpentry layout that the contractors need. As far as this building or this wall is going to be placed here, and it's this, all the detailed information that they needed. And so that is where the money had gone. And I'm not an expert by any means, but I feel strongly that may have had something to do with the shortfall, as well as the 30% increase that I think we're all aware of with supply issues, and the whole construction industry is facing or has faced since 2022. So
just to clarify then, the 400,000 that you're talking about from Prairies Can has been already spent?
No, 140 some. And so then we're looking at about 400,
We have about 417,000.
Yeah.
So I guess when I think about, I know what it's like to work with Prairies Cans, and they have certain, parameters and timelines to work within. Is there not something that you can do within that timeline and the guidelines to use the thousand, so you don't have there's no possibility of losing that?
that was what was available for the actual construction work. And that construction work came in at 640 was the minimum price.
I realize that because I'm looking at the numbers, but
Mhm.
so there's nothing that you can do. There's not beginning steps or some piece of it. I don't, I don't
No.
understand the whole,
That's all been done.
so, okay.
Is what they're doing. They have to cut through the wall, cut through the floor to bring the water line, sewer line into the building. And then build in, construct the actual washroom, for men's, ladies, and there's also a ready room that has a unisex type washroom in it as well. So that has all, that's what the rest of the money would cover. So, and I think that, there were some more adjustments that were made by RJC. We just haven't seen a revised, bid yet, and we may end up having to go re-tender it and get an update on what the actual cost will be, which is all a bit of a pain in the butt because it is going to cost a little bit more money, but we just haven't heard back from the contractor that we have been working with, and it has to be done by May 1st. In order for us to carry forward, and like I say, it doesn't really make all that much difference to the Roundhouse Society, but
Okay, you talked about a partnership with, before, special areas will even, take a look at it. What does that partnership look like? Have they indicated, is it a half them and half somebody else? Is it 1/3? What, is there any indicator of what that might look like?
At this time, everything would have to go back to the board, special areas board. But they indicated that they be able to potentially do financial. How much is still up for debate at this time.
So they're, excuse me, they're primarily just looking for a partnership.
They
So
want-
they will consider contributing to this project as long as they're in a partnership with somebody else.
Yes, they want to ensure that we've reached out to every partner, so it's not all on the.
Or are they asking for a seat on the board? Is it other partners or is it a partnership with the society?
no, it's with Harvest Sky.
I'm just clarifying.
Oh, sorry.
So what about a short-term loan? Would that work?
Well, I think that was discussed as well, and a short-term loan, because Special Areas is a shareholder and the town is a shareholder, then you're basically giving a loan to yourself.
No, I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm just, is there any means of recovering that money later on, I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't think so. As far as like, it would be, the Prairies can approach the Roundhouse because they were looking for a project to try and stimulate tourism in the area. And so they approached the Roundhouse Society for that because we are working on that with some of the projects we're doing. Which I give another question.
No, I'm listening and thinking at the same time, like,
So even if the washrooms were put in, this is not a building that's going to create economic development in Hanna
Mm-hmm.
for potentially decades,
Well,
correct? I'm sorry, I'm talking to the person who's presenting, just because that's why he's here. So, Thomas?
There are weddings potentially planned, and we have to bring that up in code before anything can be done.
Well, so as we're shareholders with Harvest Sky, but we're not shareholders with the Roundhouse. So at the end of it, we could potentially be out $144,000, but we are still giving, do we give a tax break to the town, Thomas?
no,
To the Roundhouse? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I want to talk to Thomas
Well-
because unless you're over there presenting, you're sitting at the council table.
And-
so-
I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
That, I don't think it's a fair ask for, to put all the burden on you guys, so we wouldn't ask for the full, shortfall at this time. And really in-kind support is the main ask that we're here for to hold here.
Right, well, using the staff to do the work is the same as
Yes.
money, because you're taking staff that are hired to do work for the town, to do work on a project that's not related to the town. It is in the town, but my question is, you're done the washrooms, you have 2 or 3 weddings. It's still not it's going to be, because I mean, it's been 10 years. It's lots of progress, but we're still at a point where it is not a viable tourism destination for anybody. So
My apologies, go ahead.
so I have concerns about, even if it's 50%. We just finished our budget at our last meeting and we were out of money and questioned things like, the support for the Humane Society and support for other not-for-profits. And then we get this wallop. 70,000 is a wallop. That's someone being denied having a new truck, or we won't have the infrastructure money for another project. So the only concern I have is that this is not a viable building such as the community center that needs washroom upgrades. We haven't had the money to do it. We tried to get funding, didn't get funding, but it's a functioning building that's used almost every single weekend
That the town owns.
that the town owns. This is a completely separate. So my question to you is, outside of special areas, what businesses, corporations have you contacted to try and get support for this through Harvest Sky?
Well, we have approached various hands about additional funding, and we're waiting to hear back from them.
Okay, so not just a delay. Not just you've approached Prairie's Camp to delay it 6 months
Yes.
As
and that
well
is
as
approved, and then we're waiting,
for extra funding, because again, it's not,
potentially, we don't know if that's possible at this time. but
because I know
it has been
it's not the fault of anybody. The charges have just gone skyrocketing.
Yeah, and I want to clarify that lots of these issues arose before my involvement. My role has been more on coordinating the response to these challenges and collaborating with community partners to ensure the project completion. Because I really believe it'd be a massive waste to not see $400,000 worth of grants come to our community.
So Thomas, I sit on Harvest Sky Economic Development, and I'm just wondering why this did not come back to a meeting and we have a conversation. I'm a little taken back by it. Just 1 second, that has not come back to Harvest Sky Economic Development, and we have approached it from our own coffers before taking it beyond. I think that's one avenue that I would consider looking at, because we are economic development and that fits within our portfolio. So I just question, like, you know what, I guess I would ask you what, maybe you can divulge what kind of funds Harvest Sky Economic Development may or may not have to contribute to such a project.
We would have to talk to the board, but we would be able to ship in to help resolve this issue.
But they're not.
Not the full amount.
Yeah,
But you did say here, based on a partnership. So if in fact we could create a partnership, this is where I'm a little taken back. If Special Areas is looking for a partnership, there's no reason why Harvest Sky Economic Development couldn't provide that partnership for Special Areas to be a part of it.
I think Harvest Sky has to be a part of it. Of course, I have to bring it back to the board, but I think there's no other way to do it without Harvest Sky contributing.
well, the whole Prairie's Can is the one that came to Harvest Sky.
Yes.
Asking for the project. It's a Prairie's Can project. And because there's some shortfalls, and if I can back up to a comment that Councillor Murphy had asked, the Hanna Roundhouse Society had been receiving a grant, which basically, because the Hanna Roundhouse Society is a provincial historic resource, they are exempt of taxes. We haven't paid taxes up until a certain amount of time when the CAO at that time approached us And instead of applying for, a rebate or whatever, they said they would give us a tax. So basically to write off the tax that would have come to that property had it not been a provincial historic resource. And if that was the case, then the staff would end up having to apply for that amount, which is taking up staff time, staff wages and that sort of thing. That is where that amount, and I believe it's something like $1,500 or $1,300 or so, I don't recall off the top of my head. That's where that came in, and it was called a tax. So although we're not also required to pay the school tax or the community foundation tax, we have been paying that. I had asked, while the previous CEO was here, to please remove us from that. We don't want it anymore, because all it is people assuming that we're getting something that we're not really getting. We're not supposed to be paying the tax because we're protected by the government.
Well, if you're not supposed to pay the tax, don't pay the tax. But don't be offended by someone asking you. Because we need to know.
I'm not offended. I'm just explaining to you
Okay.
that we have had people that are attacking us because we are getting a tax.
You're assuming it's an
And
attack.
so that is, it's being called a tax anyways.
But the last meeting we had, when you had indicated that you don't want that listed anymore because it was upsetting.
We do not want to receive it anymore.
Okay. So as of now, up until today, Hanna Roundhouse has not been paying property taxes.
This will be the first year.
Okay. So when that question was asked and you said, yes, we do, to this date, so the last decade, you have not been paying property taxes. You were paying it and getting the money back, which is really being done
We were
backwards.
paying for it until 2015 when we became a provincial.
Yeah, 10 years. Okay, that's what
It
I
was a
thought.
donation in lieu of taxes, I believe is what it was categorized.
Now, the province of Alberta has, since you're a historic provincial building, has no other forms of funding that could be available to
We
us.
apply for grants under the Hanna Roundhouse Society. This is not our project. It is not in our mandate to raise funds for this particular project. It's a federal project under the Prairies Canada.
Yes, but when you're low on money and you have a board, has the board been approached to look at whether or not there could be other avenues, or it's all being done through Harvest Sky?
It's all being done through
Okay.
Prairies Canada.
Okay,
And part
We're running out of time here, so we've got to quite really fill the agenda.
Sorry, I just
No, it's
need
fine.
clarification.
I just asked, I have a question. See, this is CN historical site. Is there any funding available from CN for this project?
No,
Okay,
no, they
that's
haven't been
fine.
approached because it was money that was coming forward from Prairies Canada for this. This is what they wanted to do, to invest into the building. It is a provincial historic resource. We are, the whole idea was to extend the season and to attract more people to the area. We do have people that do come, and then our plan was to set it up as a destination wedding venue. So we have more people that come to our facility than the public is even aware of. So I don't have that information, but that was the whole intent. From my understanding, when they approached the previous manager of Harvest Sky, is to extend the season, to bring more people, more events, where we do benefit, because then we are able to that revenue goes to restoration and putting it back into the building. If we had known that we had to apply for a grant, then, to apply for a grant takes at least 6 months or more before you even find out. So that's where we are able to apply to the heritage and to the government for some heritage funding, but it is for stuff that is relative to the building, not like to the heritage portion of the building, not this project.
Well, a lot of that stuff that was on your list is heritage, like, replacing walls and putting them back in place, is taking it back to its original.
Yeah, we were
state.
taking that all out. We've all done that
No, I'm just,
prior
yeah.
to that, so that has been our in-kind submission or investment into this project.
Okay.
And being that you guys, Harvest Sky is that the shareholders are the town and special areas, that is why this is being addressed to council now is because you are a shareholder of Hanna.
Okay. You got anything to wrap up on that? Like,
Just,
just about
thank
15 minutes.
council.
Yeah, we're just about 15 minutes over, so
Thank you, Thomas.
thank you. And, yeah, don't hesitate to communicate.
Oh, no, well, I appreciate everything.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Any public presentations today?
Yeah. You want to stand up here? That's amazing.
Well, we've changed.
It's okay. Our CEO moved down to that end now, so. That's a, all good changes.
Sorry, I got a cell phone.
Otherwise, it won't work. I just wanted, to finish off my weird under the bicycles. You'll have to speak up so that we can, the public will need to be able to hear you through the speakers. I have a soft voice, so I'm not gonna scream.
But if I can't hear you, it's not gonna happen.
You have to speak loud so they can hear. Okay.
Do you want to come midway between Dave and Ollie, please?
Sure, did you want me to sit down?
You can if you'd like, yeah.
First of all, with your, subject, I think you could probably get every bit of funding that you could ask for if you had, an economic, a viable idea that coincided with our Alberta government. They would help. And how, what the idea is it started with Jason Kenney. He wanted to make Alberta the recycle capital of Canada. That was really nice. I started to like that. Actually, maybe before that. But and also our Premier Danielle Smith, she really wants to make Alberta a recycle place. And you know, to have a nice building to go, and you potentially 2 stories, you just slide it down the chute, and you know, that's sort of there's a name of a movie that you probably watched that they have a whole functional factory where it's all, you know. Okay, so that's that part. Okay, so why I'm here today is because, first of all, let me just finish why I came in last month. And that was to do with the gas agreement with Apex for a 10-year renewal. And I just wanted to say that, are you guys considering like the co-op? And what about ATCO? Like, I just wanted to hear what you guys had, like what your reasoning to
Judith, we will put it out to tender. We will get the best price we possibly can. And we are part of a purchasing group with the provincial government, so all the Alberta municipalities. So we get a very good rate with our electrical and gas now, so.
okay, co-op says they never been approached, and they said they could come up with a lower amount. And
we have some co-op properties now in town, and they're significantly higher than what we have now in town.
okay. She didn't quite seem like she knew what she was doing, kind of like me, in some things.
Okay, you got a couple minutes.
Okay, so why I'm here today is because of the chlorine in our drinking water. I just Googled, health effects of chlorine in drinking water. And the danger, you know, I'd come up with all sorts of things. Dangers of chlorine in drinking water, stomach aches, vomiting, diarrhea can all be effects of ingesting chlorine. And it can also cause dry, itchy skin. It just go, you know, I can, you know, disadvantages of chlorine in water, unpleasant taste and odor.
which is my concern. I've always, since I came to town, I've always filled up my jars of water, put them in the sun, and for some reason, for the last month or so, I can't find a time of night, and it's always at night or maybe early in the morning, when I could get pretty decent water sometimes, maybe about once a week, usually on a Sunday night, Saturday night, one of those two, everybody does their laundry, and finally the water comes through the pipes. Thank you. Okay, so I'm wondering if you guys can start a task force. I know you're on the directors or something. We need someone who will advocate, someone. I like Angie because she's kind of a bit of an organic. You're not organic, you're wearing makeup, but try to find some like-minded people where we can get some water. Sometimes where we can negotiate, where like before I could fill up my water bottles late at night or early in the morning, and I wouldn't get any chlorine in, or maybe just a little bit.
Well, our injection system at the water treatment plant is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So
there is no time that there is less chlorine in the water. We send our samples away to Alberta.
Well, I can tell you what my experience is.
Well, your experiences are absolutely incorrect, because we send our water away with Henry Kruger, as well as the town of Hanna does random sampling throughout the town, correct, Brent?
Daily.
Well,
So
you gotta
all of
have-
our samples have to be sent in and meet AHS standards.
Yeah, well, when we went through COVID, all the standards.
It has nothing to do with COVID.
Well, you know what? They got away with COVID only because of the things that they
Okay,
have
we're
in.
out of time. Thank you.
Sorry, wasted so much time on the first.
Anyone else?
So you won't do anything? Is that what it is?
Again, the same thing as I said to Thomas, if you have some value to add, please send it to me.
Yeah, just reduce the amount of chlorine, so we're.
Okay, but again, it's not, that's one person's opinion, Judith. It's not,
Yeah, that's
it's not
why I asked for a
2,700
task
people.
force. That's why I asked for a task force.
okay, so.
And it's not the first time. I've been here before.
Yeah,
On
no.
the same
Yeah,
issue.
about a year ago, actually, and it was actually the same thing with the pricing, so.
Well, it had nothing to do with the pricing.
Well, it did 2 years ago, so thank you very much.
You memorized it wrong. I came in because of the chlorine.
Okay,
And actually, it's not the individual's price, it's the price. Everybody's goes up every year without fail since I've been
Yeah.
here. And it's about time that you guys start the new.
the cost of everything has gone up substantially.
We don't have to pay for so much chlorine. We can work it out.
We generate our own chlorine, thank you, but yeah. All right, minutes of the meeting, also held December 9th. Be adopted as presented. Has everyone had a chance to go through them? Motion, Councilor Warwick, all in favor, carried. Minutes from the regular meeting of council, December 10th, 2024, be adopted as presented. Councilor Crowell, all in favor, carried. Finance reports, 6.01, accounts payable. Has everyone had a chance to look through them? Hearing none, can we get a motion to accept the accounts payable? Listings for general account information, check number 43293 to 43309. Direct deposits 003641 to 003716, and electronic funds, batch numbers 912 to 915. Motion, Councilor Murphy, all in favor?
Ooh.
Carried. Statement of revenues. Has everybody had a chance to look through the statement of revenue? I do apologize. My mind's about 300 miles from here right now, but yeah. Hearing none, can we get a motion to accept the statement of revenue and expenses for the December 2024 information? Motion, Counselor Murphy. All in favor? Carried. Budget overview, December 2024. Has everyone had a chance to look through there? Is there any anomalies that jump out at you?
Got an hour? No, I'm just kidding.
If you have something that you feel it should be addressed, we can address it.
Good.
Hearing none, can we get a motion to accept the budget overview for 2024 for information? Motion, Counselor Cole, all in favor? Carried. Capital budget overview, December 24. Anything weird or unusual? Hearing none, can we get a motion the council accepts the fourth quarter capital budget update dated December 2024 for information? Motion by
Oh, I'll just keep
Counselor
my
Murphy.
hand up.
All in favor? Carried. Committee reports. Anything that anybody would like to add? Hearing none. Senior administrative officials reports, 8.01.
Yeah, I'll just go over mine. I mentioned that Dave Munis want me to be on a panel at the upcoming conference. We did some AI stuff and I was telling them about it, so they want me to let other municipalities know what kind of things we do with AI. Like we did the podcast and, you know, we're trying to teach AI to learn all our bylaws and policies, which is somewhat difficult, but we're hopefully figure that out before I get there.
Have you watched Terminator? I'm just wondering, because humans are better, period.
Is there any possibility of involving the high school computers?
I could talk to them.
Just thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the part that we're struggling with is like teaching it all our stuff and making it work like where we
Could
can
be a
all.
licensing issue.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure that part out. But the other stuff is like how we use the podcast, you know, and Laurie did the CBC radio thing. So
Podcasters do that.
yeah. So there's that.
I'm just curious,
Go ahead.
would there be an opportunity for the council to be able to, I know that if you go to this conference, you can take that in, but are you going to be sharing some of your teaching skills with AI to?
I've tried to teach some with staff, but yeah, like.
When it gets back from the municipal.
Well, yeah, we'll
The
probably
panel.
more before, either or.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that, you know, it might be good for us to kind of be on board with what exactly your philosophies and, you know, understanding is with AI.
I haven't even started my presentation, but when I get it done, then yeah, definitely. Maybe like for the next council meeting at the end of the month, I could do some stuff like that and show you how we do stuff.
Thank you.
So obviously been spending a lot of time with the lawyers and the engineers regarding the solar farm project. I met with the principal of the school and he was saying that they had some, I guess his parents sent in reviews at the end of the year and they wanted to know how the school could get more involved with the community. So they're looking for ideas and he wasn't sure because it never said how. And it didn't say if it was teachers they wanted to see more visible in the community or the students themselves to be more visible. So we're trying to figure out how we can do that, what kind of things.
Think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, and so we haven't come up with anything yet, but if anyone has any ideas, that'd be great. So we've done interviews for the bylaw officer position. I was going to call one person back today and let them know that we want to offer them the job, but we just got super busy with other things, so we'll probably do that tomorrow. I submitted all the final things for the Prairie Scan funding, so that's all been submitted. They'll review it and let me know how that goes.
I have a question. the individual you're looking at for the bylaw officer position, accepts the offer, when would they start?
They said they would need 2 to 3 weeks. They currently live in Calgary, but they are from Hanna. And they have family in Hanna, so they could easily get back here, but just the process of moving and stuff, they would want 2 to 3 weeks.
So by spring anyways,
Oh, yeah.
they should be in that
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we have Kevin's report, minor hockey and figure skating are on holiday break, so there's limited usage. So shimmy and public skate private lessons have been filling those holiday gaps. We'll do some maintenance in dressing rooms, cleaning intakes, undercoating all facilities, maintaining the outdoor rink. And they've got public works, working on all their vehicles. Then we have Michelle's report. So Skate Santa was a success. Roughly 150 people attended that. She's been doing some emergency social services meetings. She talks about the local loop. They've given them 74 rides, 37 unique riders. She's done a half-day virtual refresher course on applied suicide intervention skills. And she talks about the upcoming job fair that she and the staff will be there for.
I just have a question. When we talk about these kickboxing classes and others, is that the town's contribution to community, or do individuals have to pay to be a part of these?
They pay and register.
Okay, thank you.
We do pay $50 a session as the town.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, Ms. Armstrong.
I don't have anything further to add, just a bit of clarification since the report was written that the first flyer will resume the week of the 20th. So not this week, but next week. Canada Post kind of advises us every few days what their plan is. And it's not international, nationwide. So even though at a local level, our particular postal outlet may be ready to do, they're not accepting, Canada Post isn't accepting neighborhood mail or delivering it. So we didn't want to waste our time and money printing and for them to sit or go to recycling. So the 20th, that will pick up again. I'm very curious and would love to hear from anybody if they've missed it at all, if it's something to continue with. We need that feedback on occasion.
I know my wife has made comment that we're not getting it, so yeah.
I read them every time.
Yeah.
Like the information in it, I posted it on my fridge. Yeah.
I know back to Canada Post, they're still clearing backlog. We're getting 50 to 60 Canada Post packages a day, where normally you would get 5, 10. And the stupid part of it now is, or the silly part of it is, a lot of it is stuff from Amazon that they basically do the online return and send it right back.
Yeah.
Because they ordered it during COVID or during the shutdown and reordered it, and it came here later, and now they've got the duplicates that are sending it back. So the backlog is not as good as they're telling us. Okay.
I have a question
What's the
or a
word?
comment. I think I have been missing it. I do know that I did look for it when it was on the table at Freedom Brothers. And I did have people comment that it was nice to see it there. I'm not sure then if that is an option to continue to send it out with the within that format and such. The coffee break, I think, is what a lot of people are looking for as well, and having it right there handy is, I think it's worked well. And, but yeah, I kind of look forward in my mailbox too. I do have, if I can ask you another question I missed in the other, there was some mention about GPT subscription. Would you be able to comment on what, or?
It's one AI program that Matthew
Okay,
was speaking of. AI is just a general topic.
Right.
I'm sure there's hundreds every day that
okay,
have been
and that's what that
created.
is about,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the one we're trying to train.
Okay,
Having
Yeah,
difficult-
I think it's too new out of the box and there's not any support or people don't know how to run it very well. So there's probably an opportunity to make millions.
okay, thank you so much. Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
anything else? Or you're good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Olson?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Pretty light report due to Christmas holidays. Happy New Year to everybody. The burning question is what's happened in front of the post office. Last Friday, we got called early morning. It was a water leak. It was coming up the valve stem. 100% warranted by Brooks. They were here today to fix it. Turned out to be a faulty fitting. Must have had a pinhole in when they turned it. Of course, you wouldn't see it when they tightened it up, but when it started leaking, it just made it worse. They also had a valve fail in Dr. Larson's office. A pinhole started that was fixed today as well. So they are reaching out to the manufacturer saying that we have had a couple of issues. But it was at no cost to the town. The concrete guys will be back and.
It's kind of scary though. If
Yeah.
we're into the pipe.
Yeah, I sleep well with water anyway, so that just helped me out a lot. Knowing my new pavement could be getting cut off. So yeah.
You take it
There's-
personal.
I know.
You have no idea.
But, so yeah, they covered it 100%, it'd be no cost to us. And, we have a 2-year contract or a 2-year warranty with that. And if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any other questions? Peter? Well, I'll check on that.
It is ready. We're just deciding I'm deciding whether I'm going to get it tomorrow.
Okay.
They were gonna bring it out, but,
Way easier to go and look at it.
well, Ken, the guy in, Lethbridge who did the box and the sander has family issues. For the rest of the week, he's leaving, tomorrow at noon, and Tony up in Edmonton's going to a conference. It just kind of landed that way. So I might take off first thing in the morning with one of my drivers, one of my guys, and go to that.
Just to back up to Kevin's report, see, we have a post for our new, Parks and Rec person.
Yeah.
They spent out, so just, I thought that in my head, but like I mentioned, I apologize. Airport's been doing well with no snow, so it's.
We have quite a bridge. I reached out for our snow blower. I want to blow it back before I cover it up.
Before it gets hard. Sure.
Harder. I think it'll cut through it. I haven't heard. They should get back to me tomorrow where that is.
Okay.
But it is busy out there. Like I said, people don't realize how often the air ambulance comes in. So with this last little bit of snow, I was called twice again, just to make sure we were clear, and we usually get out there right away, so they were able to come in.
Anything else? Any questions, updates? Hearing none, then we get a motion to accept reports from senior administrative official 8.01, 8.03, presented for information. Counselor Bowden, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. This items 9.01, development officers report, Mr. Mole. Are you two tag teaming over there?
I'm just waiting for the computer.
I want to share the screen here. It takes a moment.
Oh, it's fine.
We can drag this out of your way. I think you want to do this first. You said you didn't save it as a show.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Doesn't take much of breath.
You're talking about me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, so start with our development report. So our 5-year comparison, we did 46 development permits this year, so down from the last 3 years, even with where we were in 2020. Dollar comparison over the same 5 years. So even though our number of permits were the same as 2020, our dollars were significant higher, $1 million higher, but down from where we've been the last 3 years. And this is breaking down the development permits by commercial, industrial, residential, home occ, fence, and sign. I may stop soon doing industrial and lump them into commercial industrial because we do so little industrial, as you'll see later on. And this is just a percentage of what we do for permits. You can see signs are quite low, not quite as low as industrial. But a lot of fence permits, and residential can be anything from home construction to renovations, anything to do, anything that's zoned in the R zones. 5-year comparison are industrial, like say you had one in 2021 and 2021, and we don't have a lot of industrial land that's zoned industrial, so yourself, Mr. Mayor, if you did a permit, the one in there.
Yeah.
5-year commercial, 7 this year, so up significantly from last year, but close to the same as we were in 22.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Residential, down a little bit, but not terribly. Nothing to worry about. Home occs were down quite a bit, home occupations. Not sure why, just out of most of the ones we had this year were in the minor classification, which put them through rather fast. You know, I had a minor today that was able to, looked at yesterday, was able to finish approvals and have it sent out today. So it sure beats the old way of having to send it out and advertise it for weeks. And it's simple, no traffic in his home. He's using it as a home office, right? So that's been a good change in the land use bylaw for us. Fences, pretty average. And again, fences are the things that cause us a lot of grief. They say good fences make good neighbors. I can't believe the amount of neighbors we have in town that don't get along. But I deal with it continuously. One wants 5 foot, one wants 6 foot, so they each build their own fence. Side by side. Only person that wins is the lumber company. Signs down significantly. Part of this would be that we, in the new land use bylaw, didn't require a permit for temporary signs. So any of the signs like Mr. Moore has that he puts out about no longer required permits. So that cut down our, you know, we had some regulars like Tim Hortons has a temporary sign there, a portable sign there all the time. So they would renew it continuously every 3 months. Now they were very happy in the new year after they figured out that they didn't have to jump through hoops anymore, and they're out of Quebec where their permitting was. So it was quite a deal to deal with them and get paid and everything else. So, and that is all I got on development. Any questions from anybody?
Any questions of Dave?
Would you like to adopt that one?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Get a motion to accept the town of Hanna development permit statistics for the year 2020.1 for information. And thank you, Development Officer David Moore, for his presentation this evening. Also, Orwin, all in favor? Carried.
Figured I wouldn't run so fast.
Yeah, no, I
all.
I got, yeah.
You got told to, so did I.
Yeah.
The girl at the end, she's pretty forceful there.
Yeah. I like to go.
Yeah, we'll keep her in.
Wow.
Emergency Management 2024 year-end report. Busy year as far as meetings. April 25th had a regional emergency management plan or emergency management meeting in Hanna. That was kind of getting us going again coming out of COVID. And May 16th, we did an org meeting in Hanna with the region. May 30th, we held our Town of Hanna Emergency Management Committee meeting, which Danny and Sandra were able to attend, and Councillor Warwick unfortunately was unable to attend that night. June 24th, we had a local authority elected officials court which has changed what used to be just municipal elected officials course. That's the new term for it. We did that in Youngstown, followed by a rep committee meeting of elected officials. Councillor Bodine was able to attend that and represent the town. June 25th, the next day, we did a basic emergency preparedness, which apparently I can't spell, course in Hanna. June 26th, we had a incident command system, ICS course in Hanna. We were a little busy that week. July 16th, we had a REMP agency meeting in Oyen. November 11th, we had a crisis communication course through Nate that was put on here in Hanna. Myself, the CAO, and the mayor attended that. Were you on that one too?
Yeah, me and Katie.
You guys are a different day than us. I didn't remember you. Thank you for reminding me. It was 2 different dates. Those that registered quick got to do it on Thursday of the long weekend. Those that didn't had to stay and do it Friday of the long weekend. Yeah. So, hey, I was with good company. November 4th, 5th, we did an ICS 200 course in Hanna with a few people out of our organization. I think Brent was in that one along with a bunch of public works and parks. November 18th, 19th, we did the exact same course again in Oyen. Try to have a couple of these so that we don't pull all the staff out of everybody's office. It's tough to do. You can usually only let a few people go at a time. And then November 28th, we did a REMP agency meeting in concert. So if it feels like we do a lot of meetings, we do a lot of meetings. So any questions about emergency management?
Hearing none, can we get a motion to accept the County Director of Emergency Manager 2024 fourth quarter report, October to December for information? Thank you, Director of Emergency Management, David Moore, for your presentation this evening. Councilor Moore. All in favor? Carried. David Moore, now you're busy.
Yeah. I'm just glad we do them all in one night and not spread out.
Yeah.
Membership currently sitting at 31. Our goal is to have 30 members. We lost one that moved there that quit the department here in November, and we brought on 2 junior members who both turned 18 yet this month, but they're still in high school, so they're not going to be real active till they graduate. We don't want to be affecting their grade 12 year. I don't want their parents to have me as us as their excuse as to why they didn't do well. So they can attend Wednesday night events, but they're not being given pagers. They're not coming to fire calls. They're not doing anything for now like that. But so it's good to have. We're probably losing another firefighter who just got a full-time job, but we'll wait till he gets there and make sure he clears his probation before he quits the department.
I was curious, is there a program through the school that they're teaching?
No, we never got it off the ground, and it's been tough. And there wasn't, when they last gauged the interest, it was just too low to put the work into it. Kelly Lewis was still, conversation comes up about once a year that we still talk about it. But yeah, COVID really destroyed our plans there, and we just never quite got it going yet. Not to say never, but there's only so many hours in a day is the main issue. You know what? But having some high school kids coming in, there'll be some interest there, right?
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right, so you can have 2. Did you say?
We have 2 coming right now, which they come together. They're both buddies, right? So I think it helps. One, I'm encouraged by both. They're both young local guys. I really see one staying here as a lifer just because of farming and other things that tie into the community, right? So.
Well, word of mouth might spread throughout the school as well, and maybe more will.
Right now I'm full. I couldn't take any more right now anyways. Really, 1 would have been what we needed, but we took the 2 just because they came in a pair, and it's like, okay, let's.
You're good.
Yeah, thought they might have to share a locker, but one is the brother of the one that's probably leaving. So I made him share his locker with his brother for them. They didn't want to build more lockers. So our East Central Emergency Training Partnership was established in 2005. That's who we run all our courses and do all our training through. And this past year, we completed an NFPA 1002 driver operator maintenance course, a 1002 pump operator course, a 470 hazmat awareness, a 470 hazmat operations, and our first ever NFPA 1001 firefighter 2 that we're able to ever teach here. Because of the outdoor burn props allowed us the skill set now, the equipment to teach that. It's just a picture of our hazmat guys. When you see the tape dangling off, we use painter's tape instead of the expensive tape on the suits for training, and it wasn't real conducive to the cold weather. We found that it wouldn't stick, so. Well, we just started an NFPA 1001 firefighter 1 course this past weekend. If you've seen truck vehicles all around the fire hall all weekend long, that's what was going on. And it's scheduled to be completed by the end of May this year, so it's a rather aggressive schedule to pull it out, start in January. Usually we start in October, so we wanted to try something a little different. We're also doing a green rescue course later this month in a couple of weeks. That focuses on everything related to working and doing the rescues in and around greeneries, as well as hopper bottom trucks like the B-train trailers. There's been some kids caught in some of them in recent years, so we're actually going to have a bin prop in one bay of the fire hall and a B-train in the other bay, and be working on both at the same time.
They have not been successfully extracted, have they? I don't believe.
Not a lot of them lately, no. So we're gonna try to get trained up on it, so if not touch wood, if whatever unfortunately happens, that hopefully we're able to get there quick enough to make a difference. It is body recovery a lot of times, so, yes.
I'm just wondering if you've ever done any on-site, like on farm site, demos or practices or whatever. I know the larger farmers, I'm thinking more so the Hutterite colonies. A lot of times with everybody, they're busy and they're rushing around and everything else. I'm just wondering if that could be maybe sort of or if it's of any interest, and whether they're receptive to it, I don't know, but sometimes some other information or just some workshops to be able to touch some of the younger people involved in some of the large.
We've been fortunate that we're in a small farming community, so there's so many members that have that ag farming background. Part of this is we're touring a vineyard just to look at different granaries and to show them that, structure and how different granaries are built. I've got an old granary out at our farm that I'm trying to get hauled in that we're actually going to cut up. So they learn how to cut the bins. As far as farm rescue, that's another whole thing. And yeah, we've actually worked on developing a course. We haven't rolled out or done it. This is kind of the first step, is to concentrate on the grain rescue. We're trying to do an all-encompassing farm rescue course. But there's so many different components that we've had to break it down into small chunks and try to do it over time. We have access to lots of farm equipment. Even the implement dealers are always been good when we talk to them. If they want to connect. Yeah. Like this time we're just going to, part of the problem is we got to try to stay close to town, right? We don't want to get too far out because that thing does what it did earlier as soon as you get out of town any distance, right? So.
Thank you.
This is just a picture of pump course we were doing in around the museum. It's when it was getting pretty dry, so we ran a lot of long lines and watered a lot of grass for the museum all over the place, just trying to, if we got to flow the water and use it, we might as well put it to good use. So they did a lot more hose rolling than what they would have been some pump courses. And like we're going to do another 1001 firefighter 2. Like we just completed last fall. We're looking at one starting this fall, and it'll end up finishing in the spring of 26.
Is that just local, or is that
Regional.
regional, so people from outside can?
So to give you an idea, the course we just did this weekend, we had 26 students, full as 24, ran 2 over because we hate saying no. We had 1 Hanna, 5 Oyen, we had a cereal, we had a concert, we had 2 veteran, we had 2 caster, which are outside our training group. We had 1 big stone, 7, 6 or so out of Flagstaff County, which we've just started having come in recently. They're outside our training group, but we fill it within our training group first and then open it up to the neighboring. And so we've got a lot of new faces. Well, in their rookie class, so a lot of unfamiliar. So this weekend, the hotels were very busy. I know the hotel owners love us right now, and they're eating breakfast there and they're eating supper there. And, they were here Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So never would go, firefighters would never go to the lounge, Mr. Mayor.
Is it a cost recovery?
Yeah,
So you charge them, and so that's not a bad thing for.
that's why you're not seeing tower operating expenses, right? You're not getting bills for propane, you're not getting
We
bills.
never spend any money
No.
on the fire department.
But that's probably where you get most of your money. Is
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And this is a 5-weekend course we just started. We are doing one weekend in April in Wayne, because they have 5 students, and certain courses I don't need our training field for. So if we're still gonna try to go to Wayne, still gonna try to go to Katy Valley concert, different places depending on the course and what we can do. The director of public works really likes it when I take the hydrant water flow course to Wayne for the weekend instead of hooking 3 trucks up around Hanna all week and long. He sleeps much better if I do that. It doesn't seem to ever buy me lunch for doing it. No, they
They're not here because we're never here. But there they do.
Michelle in concert and the guy in Wayne don't really like me sometimes when we do our courses there. And this is just a picture of the firefighter too, and it happens to be Brent in the white helmet, Wes, who works for the town, in the near yellow helmet, Jill, Brent's wife, is an officer, and one of the Oyen officers. And I'll just let you run just a little clip of showing what it looks like when they're going in there. We got no sound on it. This was coming in on the barbecue prop along with a tray fire underneath it.
It's a big ass supply line for a barbecue.
238 nozzles on 45 millimeter lines at full pressure.
No, I'm gonna say that 3 inch.
No, you meant the
line.
propane.
Oh, the 3-inch,
Yeah.
a little bit. This is separate flange prop. You were seeing the barbecue in the background burning. So. I do not. Okay, so as far as the burn tower, phase 1, 2, and 3 have been completed. No, I am not divulging how many phases there are. Phase 4 is the landscaping and fencing. So
Document.
we're gonna finish graveling the site, pour some concrete pads around the 2 sides of the burn tower, and then chain link fence around the entire site. Just try to get up to that point where we're, ready for pavement.
Has there been an issue with people trespassing?
Yeah, they're driving through and now that we have $500,000 of outdoor props sitting on concrete that you could easily drive into, we're a little leery. Now that we got some snow piled up, it's not as bad, but the goal is to have it done as fast as we can get the gravel in and finish next year. I mean, by all right, it'll be end of the summer before we get it, before fall, before we have the fence in. You would have seen the fence in our budget, and that's just because we've been running props and stuff through budget without having it listed ahead of time, and it wonks the numbers badly. So before he left, CEO Neil had heavily suggested that maybe even if we're doing that we get the numbers into budget. So the fence is there, but so's the revenue coming from the fire association offset the cost of the fence, right?
Do you have cameras? Like security cameras on those props in case there is a. Oh, okay, I take that back.
We have cameras on the towers and stuff, yeah.
Okay, just,
I'd like to leave it at that.
well, maybe if people know there's cameras there, maybe they won't wander around there too, so.
And you've got a leak somewhere. You had to put that in the budget.
A leak?
Oh, that's building, that's all different.
Oh, that's a wall. That's.
Yeah, don't get me going. I'm hoping to start on that couple weeks on the getting quotes.
Any other questions of Mr.
We
Mold?
got lots to go yet. No starting there. Sorry, buddy. Hate to do that to you, but I already started. I know we're going late, but 2024 year in review, we had 120 incidents. So down from the 131 previous year. Nice to see a little slower, to be honest, because that 165s and, that was crazy. You gotta remember when I joined the fire department in 1990 and Mr. Councillor Kroll at the end was still on the department. 54 was a busy year. It was our average, a good year was 54 incidents, so.
The population was higher here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We do 2.25 calls a week, basically, is how this works right now, is what we did. 57 in town, 63 rural calls. It just shows you the 5-year comparison between all our town and all our rural calls. So sometimes town's higher, but normally rural does pop out as the high one. just shows the breakdown further breaks up the rural into what's called Alberta Transportation or special areas. So Alberta Transportation pays per unit per hour. Anytime we do anything between the fence and the fence on our secondary highway, whether it be a grass fire in the ditch, whether it be an motor vehicle accident. So 26 of those calls we get decent cost recovery on. And then the 37 special areas calls are as per our contract with special areas.
So my daughter's accident on 3 Mile Road, is that considered in town or out of town?
It is out of town and it is a special areas call. Because that's a township road, not a secondary. Everybody thinks because it's paved line looks like a regular highway, that's a secondary. It's actually not. And this is a 5-year broken down with the same, following the transportation and special areas separately. Just to give me an idea. Great. So 5-year comparison on breakdowns of calls. Yes, false alarms, call them what you want, false alarms. Sometimes you're referred to as alarms ringing. We just had one tonight. That's what the tone out was earlier tonight, was for an alarms ringing, and apparently they burnt the pork chops. So, you know, we're at call 3 for the year, and I think 2 are already that, and one's an MVA.
My daughter,
One you know about.
and she's okay, so that's what matters.
Yeah. So they're up considerably. We've always talked about whether to bill or not, or bill on repeats. So far, we haven't had a ton of repeat offenders, but it is frustrating because it's 31 times that we're paying members to go, and 31 times they're getting dragged from their jobs or their homes, right? So hopefully we can get back down this year to that
These
18.
alarm companies are,
The fun.
well,
They're not vetting the calls.
well, what they do, for example, we had a fire call at the shop.
Yeah, you're one of those. You're the 31 of 30.
No, that was before that. I was in 23 twice,
Twice in
in the same day.
Maybe you should go with a different alarm company.
Yeah.
Mr.
And what happens is with the alarm company is, as soon as the fire alarm, they activate the department before they even call.
Yep.
Us. And most of the time I'm down there long before the fire department gets me, that, you get that neck hair standing up a little bit and. Yeah, but, I've talked to, the alarm company to try and change that. And that's just policy. That's how they will answer it.
Yeah, and they aren't great to talk to us either. Grass fires, we were down to 14. Not really because it was wet early on. If you remember, we come out of a good winter. It was wet early on. We had decent growth, but it stayed green till about the 26th, 27th of July before things turned.
So would that be like a crop fire as well?
Grass, crop, yeah, grass or crop. So it could be hay, it could be cropland. It could be bale stacks also. They kind of catch all of that feed type.
And that's where the water comes in, right? Because if they're wet, that's when they
It
smell.
cause problems the other way come. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're a little concerned right now. We'll see. You know, we've had decent snow on that, but sometimes that just causes growth. There's a lot of growth left over, so. Medical assists, I'm happy to say something went the right direction.
Oh,
Yes, I'll take the false alarms over so many medical assists. It's much better to clear the smoke out from a burnt pork chop than it is to have to administer Narcan or CPR or whatever else we've been doing. So very glad that that's trending the right way after it was trending. You know, you show 2020, if you go back to 19 or 18, we did 6 of those. So to go from that to 20 to 46 to 57, I'm glad now that we're slowly trending the right direction. Hopefully that stays.
Where's your 911 still in Red Deer?
Yeah, Red Deer Fire provides us with on contract for 911.
have they figured out where Hanna is yet?
Oh, they know quite well. They're very good. I'm very happy with them. They are our call answer point for 911 for the region, as well as the Hanna Fire Department dispatch. So if you call and ask for ambulance, they'll send you to AHS. If you ask for police, they'll send you to RCMP. Telecoms happens to be based in Red Deer, but when it's fire, they just deal with it themselves direct to us. So you see us getting launched ahead of EMS and police quite often because of that, because they just know that we're needed, push the button, get us going.
So the MD of Bonneville, the town of Bonneville, run their own service, 911 service, their own ambulance service. Is that a viable option or? I know they're having a heck of a time keeping people because everybody's poaching their staff.
Anymore now with the new E911 system, which Red Deer just started up the other day, they're all being mandated by the government to go to it. What you have to be able to do, you have to be able to receive text messaging, you have to be able to receive pictures from callers once this is fully implemented on the cell phones. So the technology requirements are massive. Just the technology requirements to talk to us, everything's done through internet, radios over IP, similar to your VoIP phones we have here in the office. We just have radios over IP, a lot of money on equipment and that. So I just don't see it. We tried to get the town of Hanna and special areas to go for it before your time, Mr. Mayor. Back probably 20 years ago, I tried to say, let's put a dispatch center in Hanna. And the government of the day didn't want to talk to us about it. So we tried. We seen it as an economic development thing, and maybe needed Thomas here then, or somebody like him pushing for
I
it.
need a
But
job, so get it started.
yeah, it's
Oh.
ship sailed now. You'd have a hard time prying me off Red
I
Deer
know
Fire.
the volleyball facility, they took over a private business. And it's a fantastic building, but it's
expensive.
It's very expensive.
And they'll do a lot of private alarm monitoring and stuff just to try to bring in money.
Subsidized.
Yeah. And I mean, you could run a fly by night one, and there's some of them in the province. I won't give examples here on live TV, but yeah, I'm happy where we're at.
Yeah, no, perfect. Thank you.
Miscellaneous down a little. That's just the catch all. It doesn't fit any of my other categories. Rescue MVAs down slightly. Fourth straight year that it's dropped a little bit. So that's always good because they're the ones that can cause a lot of trauma to our members and of course to the traveling public. Structure fires, a little quieter, but touch wood, we like that trend going the right way. I'll take 2 or less a year will be just fine for me. Vehicle fires, this includes farm equipment too. So if we have a combine or a baler or anything like that, it'll drop into this vehicle. It's got tires on it. This is kind of where we go with this one.
So a baler fire in a field, did that classify as both, or does that classify as?
If the baler burnt up, we would put it as a baler fire. If a bearing burnt on a baler and started the field on fire, we'd put it as a field fire. Officer discretion.
Yeah.
Usually it's whatever.
Just clarification. So
yeah, it's if there's an insurable loss in the baler, then we'll show it as a vehicle fire because that's where the report has to go.
And no EVs yet.
Last year,
We get
24, yeah, the one at the test track would have been in 24, would it not, Brett?
3, wouldn't it?
Is it 23? Yeah, maybe it was 23. We haven't had anything.
Was it a big burn? Like they usually?
Well, it burned for what, 8 hours?
Oh.
They wanted us to save the truck. It was a test 1 ton with computers in it worth over $250,000. So we left trucks down there and just kept cooling it while it did its thing until the 600-volt battery pack burnt out.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we left the tenders, especially at Homestead Cool, we leave an engine and a couple guys and babysat it all day. So this is just a percentage what we did for incident types. Just, 26% was our high number beyond medical calls and false alarms, but MVA's right behind it. You see structure fires 2%. We don't do a lot of it like we discussed. Hence the reason we have the training tower to train in that controlled environment for it. Because when we're doing 25% MVAs, our guys get pretty good at them. When we're doing 26% medical assists, they get pretty good at responding to medical assists. When you only do 2% structure fires, you don't get to use your skills much for structure fires. Hence the reason so much money put into a training facility. Because unfortunately, the one that's most likely to kill firefighters is the 2% structure fire.
When that floor collapsed. I'm so glad nobody was in that building because it was.
So is he as officer in command at the time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And this is just by volume or incident volume by time of day, just to show when we're busy. It's at noon to 6 o'clock at night, supper, noon to supper, lunch to supper seems to still be and this is pretty common most years.
I still find that interesting that midnight to 6 a.m. is higher. I know, it doesn't make sense.
because it's cool and nothing's off gassing, so it's harder to light it on fire. In a nutshell, that's what it is. The heat of the day from noon till 6, when things are warm out, you get a lot of off gassing, and we get what we call crossover, where the temperature is higher in Celsius is higher than the humidity is. So as the humidity is coming down and the temperature is going up, when they pass each other, you can look at a fire or think fire and it'll start. And that's where, and we watch it. We all watch the humidity and the temp. And when we hit crossover, go to the bathroom more often. Maybe finish up what you're working on and be ready, because you just know it's coming on days like that. So incident volume by day of the week. This one is just whatever every year. You never know. Apparently this year, Fridays and Mondays were our day, followed closely by Saturday and Thursday. So, and this just varies all over the place. They've yet to been able to put a trend to it year to year. So,
Yeah, my fire is a Monday.
any questions?
No, thank you. Appreciate those graphs and all those stats. It's awesome to hear, see that.
Motion to council accept Hanna Fire Department 2024 for her report for October to December, and thank Chief David Moore for his presentation this evening. Motion, Council Warwick. All in favor? Carry. 9.04 ACO electric street lights.
Okay, so all the council, that coming from the time that there is 8 of the old fashioned streetlights that are no longer working. So they give us 2 options on what we can do with those to replace it. Option one is to replace the cost of the bulbs, but the old fashioned bulbs, put that in, which I think roughly comes out to $6,300 altogether. Option 2 is the big 0 upfront cost, and they will convert them to LED lights, the new lights. But then we would get a monthly fee from them, but then they would take care of all the maintenance on those lights going forward. So
What is the average lifespan of these bulbs? Do we know?
the old fashioned ones, but
Well, okay, so they either replace them with old fashioned ones for $6,300, or they replace them with the fancy ones, and then they take over.
yeah, we would pay like a monthly
Yeah.
fee for that. So
But how often do they replace the bulbs? Do you have any idea?
Methyl hydrates are methyl. The old ones,
The bulbs ones.
yeah, are usually about 3 to 5 years, depending upon, yeah. The LEDs, I don't think we have had them long enough to, maybe have an informed opinion. Any questions, discussion? Council Gordon?
Well, I'm just wondering about, as far as the availability, of supplies or whatever with the old style. If you replace them with the old style, how long are they going to be available? If everything's
Yeah.
going to LED, I guess.
I think eventually it's
You're gonna have to
gonna
go
be
to
hard to
LED.
get.
Yeah.
So eventually they're gonna have to go LED.
And I believe they cost less to run, do they not?
Yeah, they're essentially.
Yeah, so we're paying the power and the bulb. Or we're saving money on the power and just paying monthly for the maintenance of the bulb. So $35 per bulb per month?
Yeah. So in that range, 21 to 35, that's. We're increasing 21 to 35.
So eventually, I guess the plan is to replace all the bulbs and charge us $30-some per bulb. Do we know how many lights we have in town?
I think the lifespan is supposed to be a little longer too. I think
Right,
Yeah, should be more.
$30 a month per bulb if there's 100. I don't know if we have 100 lights. And then we're paying nothing per month
Right.
for the bulbs. Okay,
Well, we already have some that are invested.
okay.
Any thoughts?
And since your option 2 under the but increase monthly wire charges from $13 per night. Okay, so we're already paying a wire charge.
Yes.
Okay. So if we're already paying something, we should probably replace it with new stuff. It's gonna save us on that.
That would be my thoughts.
Yeah.
And as the old ones burn out, we'll just.
Yeah, she
Well,
said that's what most municipalities are doing, so.
And so we're looking at 8 right now. That's absolutely necessary to do at this point in time.
Yeah. Those
Yeah,
are
but-
burned there.
Yeah.
And so then maybe in 3 months, we have to do 6 more. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that,
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
Okay, so motion to upgrade the 8 that are currently in need of repair or replacement to LED. Motion by
There's 9.
Guide, sorry,
Yeah.
Counselor Cole. All in favor? Carried. Real estate services.
So to council again, in the past, the town has engaged with a contract to have real estate services provided to the town, and that contract expired at the end of last year. So we're just looking to re-advertise that the same way we did in the past. We've used the same forms and hopefully bring that back to the next council meeting with those who've expressed interest in becoming the town's real estate agent.
So what's the past, like what have they done in the past?
What services have they provided? They've listed all the town properties that we're looking to sell. They've advertised, this the same stuff that any real estate agent would do when they're trying to sell the property.
It doesn't, yeah. The land itself, like, I mean, like Fusion Place, has anybody sold a lot up there other than, the town?
That I'm not sure of.
They were all sold through the realty, were they not? No.
No, but there's a contractual obligation with the realtor to receive a commission, even though the individual would come right to the office and deal with it. I just know that from having done it recently.
So I guess we need to send out a request.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, yeah, RFP. That's what I was gonna say, like, might it's not RFP, diesel. Motion send out RFP for our real estate services.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor? Carried. Alberta Community Spring Municipal Leaders Conference. Sorry.
So to council again, I wasn't sure how you did these conferences before I wrote this up. I assumed that you went to both, but then I found out that you have your own allowance to pick and choose. So I guess this is just a reminder that this event is taking place and I will be on one of the panels at that conference.
I don't think we were ever really given an option. Like I know last term, I think it was all organized for the fall, and at least I just wasn't aware of it, but.
Councilor Warwick and I have attended the spring conference every year.
Yeah.
As well as Kim, it'll be Malky now, so.
I feel it's highly valuable. I mean, I had this conversation with our CAO earlier tonight about the value in this particular, and it had been advised to me prior to being a counselor, and I have gotten that value out of it. I've really enjoyed those.
Will you be attending this?
I will be actually.
I think they might actually do that as well.
It is my plan to attend this one. I wanted to trade in going to AMA to go to this one, but that didn't happen. So,
Yeah, I think I would like to go to this one.
Okay. So,
We're gonna have people there this time.
somebody that heckled up.
It's the only reason I'm going. No, I'm just kidding. As soon as I read that.
He thinks he's got AI.
We will book the Sandman for everybody.
Yeah.
It would have been your nightmare from.
It's not in red here.
Yeah, it's not red here, it's Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay. There's always a way.
Council authorized the attendance of councilors to 2025 Alberta Municipalities Municipal Leaders Caucus motion. Councilor Warwick, all in favor? Carried. It's a good thing.
And is Councilor Warwick going to be booking the hotel rooms for us all?
Well, I have already booked because when I seen when the dates were, I did pre-book because sometimes I do not like to stay anywhere other than where the conference is. Because I don't like to walk around downtown Edmonton in the dark.
Really?
So I had pre-booked. So we'll talk about that if we can on the sideline. Yeah. I'm not giving up my room.
So do we just let you know? Do we let
I think in the
Winona
past,
know?
I think we
No,
don't.
I believe that
If you could
like
book
the
me,
CAO
yeah.
know. And in the past, we had just let Kim know that we
Okay,
were
yeah.
going to attend. So you want to attend? I don't know. Yes, please.
Bylaw 1036/2025.
I don't know, I'm not even you alive.
Well, you don't know that.
Yeah, I can.
That's right.
Walking their trips. So this is a bylaw to increase the cost of water from the water regional services from $3.06 to $3.12 per cubic meter, effective January 1st, 2025. This is in line with our budget.
Councilor Bolton.
No, and I just, basically, the increase is because it is being increased to the town.
Yeah.
It's just passed on.
Yeah,
So it's not like we really have a choice to,
unless you want to eat the cost of it.
So fundraiser.
yeah, so just FYI for anybody listening and stuff that it is being passed on.
Henry Kruger actually lost one of the employees last week, so
Oh,
they're going to be looking for a new I don't know what the exact terminology is, junior water operator, so.
oh, wow.
Okay, any questions? Motion that council give the first reading of bylaw 1036/2025 to 2025 public utilities amendment bylaw. Motion one. Council Murphy, all in favor? Carried. Council give the second reading to bylaw number 1036/2025, the 2025 municipal public work or public utilities amended bylaws. Motion. Councilor Bowden, all in favor? Carried. Motion that council provide unanimous consent to the third reading of bylaw 1036/2025, the municipal utilities amended bylaw immediately. That's has to be unanimous. All in favor? Carried. And last but not least, that council give the third and final reading of bylaw 1036/2025, the Alberta municipal, the 2025 municipal public utilities amended bylaw. All in favor or motion? Councilor Cole, all in favor? Carried. Darcy and Audra, we should have put them on the agenda somewhere.
In closed session.
Just in close, okay. I wasn't sure, I didn't keep it, so. Yeah. Council reports and roundtable. Anything to add or report? Okay, hearing none, can we get a motion to accept? Oh, Councilor Bowden?
No.
No, I got.
Oh,
Councilor Cole?
No.
Okay. Can we get a motion to accept the council reports for information?
I'll make that
Councilor
motion.
Bowden, all in favor? Carried. Correspondence items? No.
I think we noticed that I'm not getting a lot of the emails. I think they're still going to Ken's email, so I'm missing out on maybe some of the correspondence. But there's just it's not much coming to me that
Maybe they're coming in the mail.
Probably.
You'll get a whole bunch come
Eventually,
Yeah.
March.
that'll be one for the agenda.
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick 7-minute break. Just so we can all stretch our legs and get ready for the interesting part of the meeting.
Are you moving into closed section and then I'll stop?
We'll move it, well, I'll be moving to closed session, I'll make that motion. All in favor? Carry.